Hey guys, we're back for another episode of Brushing Them Back with Colby White. I'm Colby. Williams behind the screen. We got Coach Derek Jerkins, the head coach at West Marion High School, is actually where we're at right now. We got Jonathan Bulldog Miller here. He is the impact player for projected impact player for this upcoming year, 2023. Sitting here in the library at West Marion High School, pretty good place to be. The air is just a little cleaner over here. We've been telling William he might need to move back across the river. So, yeah, I had to give him a hard time because I'm the one talking right now. But
That's
anyway,
right.
So Coach, obviously you're going into, this will be your 8th year as a head coach. You've had a ton of success. You've been here 10 years total as a coach. You played here. You grew up over here. And to still be coaching and being involved with baseball, kind of talk about that a little bit. Is that something that you always wanted to do when you were coming up through baseball through the years, or something you just kind of grew to love as you got older, or did you always know that you were wanting to be a head coach?
Well, when I graduated high school here, went down to Pearl River, played baseball for a little while down there, and then I went through a period where I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I looked into being an athletic trainer for a little while. Assistant, actually went to a meeting for that, and that didn't work out, so I kind of went for about a year or so, and I wasn't real sure what I wanted to do. But I guess a year or so had lapsed, and I hadn't got to play baseball, and I still knew that love was there. So decided to give it a shot. Went to college for baseball, to coach baseball and to teach. That's where it's got me today. This is actually my 12th year overall. I started my first year at Columbia Academy, and then this will be my 11th year total. I've put 10 in so far, but 11th year total at West Marion. But definitely enjoy the game. I love the game. I'm glad I'm at West Marion. Anywhere else I'd rather be than at West Marion. And I've had a little bit of success, but ultimately I want to be able to bring a championship to West Marion.
Exactly. We got to doing some digging before the show started. A lot of people know this is just common knowledge around here now because it's, when I would come back and I would go to the field during playoff time, played for two South State championships. And every year he's been at the head coach position, they've at least made it to the second round of playoffs, which that is a really unbelievable feat when you really think about the history of baseball at West Marion, because for a time spell there, it was just kind of a rare thing. I know in 13 was the first time we'd made it to the playoffs in quite some time. I don't know the exact amount of years or whatever. And then to be able to say, well, we're not just making the playoffs, we're at least getting to the second round. So you played for 2 South State championships, played to the third round twice, and then you played to the second round twice, and a total of 119 wins in 6 years. Actually has coached 7, but COVID knocked off a portion of the season, which we don't get that back. But really impressive to have that many wins. And what do you think is the key aspect? Is it being lucky with players? Is it being more relatable to players? What do you think probably helps that the most, or is that something you've really thought about very much?
We've had some good players here. Starting my first year as head coach was your senior year. Some good pitchers on the mound. Yourself, Shelby Terrell, Trace McNabb. It all starts, and me and Coach Sanders talk about this all the time. It all starts on the mound and throwing strikes. We've had some really good guys, but if you go back and look, we've had a lot of really good pitchers that's been able to dominate the strike zone. And if you dominate the strike zone at the high school level, you give yourself a chance to win. Can't leave out Jaden Duncan, which played really well for us over the years. A bunch of really good arms come through here. Randy Ramos was really good for us on the mound. So you got to be able to dominate the strike zone in high school baseball, and it gives yourself a chance to win. And I really accredit that to a lot of our success over the years since I've been here.
So is it, do you believe that philosophy is like, if let's say you're starting it at a program that, let's just say you don't have as much success as you've had over the past couple of years with a group. Let's say you go to somewhere that hasn't really won. That's your step one right there. Get good. If you
can't throw strikes, you can't win.
That's the name of the
game. If you throw it 85 and you can't throw strikes, you're not going to win. So my number one theory or philosophy is if you pound the strike zone at high school level, you have a good shot to win the baseball game. You can't walk people and win. And Shelby Terrell yourself, if you go back and look, I don't know all the numbers. I do know that 2019 Shelby Terrell was 3A Player of the Year, and he struck out 120, and I think he won like 18 people. So and that gives you a good chance to win. And having a good backstop. Clay Blocker was back there. He rolled on, was back there with a Trace McNabb on Shelby Terrell. If you can steal that 4 to 6 inches that high school umpires will give you an outer half and have your guys throw there, you have a lot of success. So a lot of my success as a head coach come from my players. I can credit Clay Blocker behind the plate for a lot of that success as well.
Exactly. Well, and the cool thing about this too is, you talk about being good on the mound and throwing a lot of strikes and all those things. And then you look at all the kids that's got an opportunity to pitch at the next level. Not only pitch, there's been a lot of them go hit in other positions too, but vast majority of those are pitchers. And it's almost like, hey, the system has worked much beyond just winning in high school. It's kids are going further. They're getting opportunities to get an education. And a lot of them probably would have never went to college if they didn't have baseball ahead of them. So that's obviously a credit to you and your program, and I'm sure you take a lot of pride in that. You got any idea how many kids, since you've been a head coach, has went on to the next level to pitch?
So let's count. 2016 we had you, 18 was Trace, 19 was Shelby Terrell, and 21 was Jaden Duncan. So had 4. Had several guys, and the guys we've had, me and Coach Sanders talked about this the other day. The guys who have been really successful. Again, my first year starting with you, and then you go. Trace McNabb was a captain. Correct me if I'm wrong. Captain at Pearl River.
Yeah.
Shelby Terrell plays 2 years at Pearl River. Went on, was able to move on to Delta State, play for a little while. Talked to Josh Boone. I believe Thursday or Friday night, he was named captain this year, 2023 captain at Colin. So a lot of guys have been successful that have left here and go play to the next level.
And what's cool to me is, this isn't a 4A, 5A, 6A school. A lot of the guys you named, when I was 5, 6 years old, they lived 2 miles down the road from me and grew up our whole lives right around each other. And that's what's pretty cool, is being able to say, I know this guy, I played with him, he's having a ton of success, and they all come through right here in Foxworth, which is really cool. So we're here, we're talking, we're really wanting to get on to this year. What is something that you expect out of this team this year? What are some good qualities? What is something that y'all are going to have to work on, if you want to say that? I know there's probably going to be some other coaches probably tune into this or whatever, but and then kind of talk about the district, what it kind of looks like.
Well, starting back in June, we were able to hire, I guess for the first time since I've been here, a really good hitting coach. I've done some of the hitting duties in the past. We've had some other coaches try to help, but we got a guy really designated to be our hitting coach. It's Coach Eubanks. Me and him have a little bit of history. No real conflict history, but if anybody remembers 2019, we played 14 innings for South State, Game 3 here to play for state championship. Well, he was the guy on the other side. He was the McGee head coach, and he got to go on that year to play for state championship. And I've known Coach Eubanks for several years, and I'm sure Jonathan can speak for this. He's helped us a lot swinging the bats this off season. Since he came in June, from now we are swinging the bats a lot better. I think we will swing it a lot better this upcoming season. That's one thing I'm looking forward to. And also in June, we really made a commitment, really sold out to the weight room. Seeing a lot of growth in the weight room. We are really prioritizing to get to the weight room this fall, even if it's causing us to miss some baseball time. But get down there and really try to get stronger. Got to see last year our seminary team. I think if you talk with Coach Clay Bush of the seminary, he really could. Bigger and stronger definitely is a big part of success at high school level. So it's one thing we're looking to be this year. Hopefully it is bigger and stronger. Hopefully we can do a little bit more than just poke the ball around. Hopefully hit some balls into the gouts, maybe hit some homers this year. But I've seen a lot of growth out of us since June. as a team. That's 3 months from tomorrow. We play our first game. We're going to have a lot of growth between now and then. But I definitely think we'll swing it better. I got to go give Coach Sanders a lot of credit. A lot of our pitchers are throwing the ball a lot harder. So a lot of guys develop on the mound. So we've got better since June in every facet of the game. We're just now going to be able to put it all together, and we do expect to have a good year this year. Just got to be able to put the ability to hit, the ability to go on the mound, throw hard, and throw strikes, put it together, and hopefully play some defense behind it. Coach Sanders talks about wanting to strike a lot of folks out. Obviously, that's the goal for us. If you strike a lot of people out, you don't have to play great defense. But with that being said, I think we'll have enough guys out there in the right positions to be able to make the plays.
Exactly. So, Jonathan, Coach mentioned Coach Eubanks coming over from McGee and talking about his hitting philosophies and stuff like that. Is there anything that you can kind of share that kind of sticks out to you, which is, like, hey, this really worked, or this was, what is Coach Eubanks' philosophy kind of thing on hitting, and what do you think it's going to translate to this year?
Well, he came in and he's kind of just developed a mindset in us where we know what we can do hitting wise instead of us just going up there barely hitting the ball. He's helping us hit balls in the gaps, like Coach said. And I feel like that's going to translate to building more confidence, which is going to help us.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I've noticed, and I come back to school and throw and all that, and I'll watch practice and stuff. The thing that I've really noticed and really enjoyed is how detailed, not only with just the hitting, the pitching too, and the whole practice plan together, but like, let's say you go to Pearl River or Jones or wherever, and you look at their practice plans and you look at how well everything's gelling together and jiving together, and you come up here in Foxworth and it's the same stuff, maybe with a smaller amount of kids, but everybody's got a place to go and everything is detailed, and y'all certainly putting in the work on both sides of the ball and also hitting. And I feel like that is going to help with the confidence aspect too, because when I look and see y'all in the cage, it is very detailed, and I feel like this is a game of every little detail, which is cool to see. But this is Jonathan Miller. A lot of y'all don't know him as Jonathan Miller. Y'all know him as Bulldog because he is a Bulldog. He's a junior this year, utility guy, which is the thing I really admire about this kid is from the time I saw him when he was little, I guess he was in junior high the first time I kind of saw him play, but he was always the one that would go to any position and play it well. And that obviously that is a very valuable tool to have, because when you can hit, the next question is, where can he play in the field, and can he play in the field? And if you can play anywhere, even when you struggle hitting a little bit, it's a lot easier to be put out there. So that's a lot of credit to you. And now you're a junior and you've played in 56 games, which is, again, a credit to you to be able to get on the field and stay on the field and get a lot of experience. What do you kind of take out of your years of playing up here to kind of help mold these younger guys? Because, anybody around this county, when they kind of talk about West Marion and stuff like that, is, man, they got a good group coming up. I've heard that a lot, which other schools do as well. But is there anything that you have kind of this is probably going to help him, or, hey, I'm going to tell this kid not to do this because this is probably going to have a negative reaction to him? Is there anything that kind of you can think of that you could share to a younger kid on your team?
Really just try to mature as much as you can, because whenever I first came up, I wasn't really mature. I made a lot of dumb mistakes that may have cost us a few games. And I just want them to, like I'm trying to help them mature where they got an extra step on other players on the team.
Gotcha.
Something.
Yeah, and the thing I've kind of saw with you playing through the years, and obviously there's been a lot of very good players. We talk about Shelby and Trace and Jaden Duncan. You go through the list, those guys that played really young. It just appears to where those players kind of had blinders on, like they weren't worried about mistakes. And I feel like, I feel like that was kind of you growing up and going through it. And there, like you talk about, Colby Stringer had a very good year last year. Obviously saw that with him. And obviously there's a lot more kids, but that's pretty cool that you said that, and pretty interesting. career 299 hitter. He's had 184 plate appearances at high school level. Stole 18 bases. I should have got the total innings he's thrown. He gets on the mound and throws it really well. Competes in the zone. Just kind of a Swiss Army knife kind of guy. Put him anywhere. But after talking with Coach Jurgens and talking with you, you're mainly going to be shortstop, second base, outfield kind of guy.
Probably a shortstop, center field. He maybe bounce around a little bit according on who we have on the mound for us. And as far as probably his pitching duties, Jonathan is the guy that if there's runners on first and second, no outs, and I step out of the dugout, they're like, well, they're probably going to get more on the other side of this. May not throw 85 miles an hour quite just yet. Make people look like, hey, he's throwing, hey, he's on, Is it 83? Maybe 78, 79. Definitely has intent. It has that bulldog mentality that you want to kind of get you out of that situation. A guy that we can trust come in and pound his own and get us out of the inning. So that's kind of our deal. In 2021, Josh Boone was a guy that was like that. Whenever come out with guys on, it was a guy just wanted the ball in that type of situation. Wasn't afraid to take the ball in that kind of situation. So this year, Jonathan will play shortstop some for us. Colby Stringer will play that position some too, according how he is when he's pitching. He's a little sore, whatnot. Then according how our outfield kind of pans out if you play center field or shortstop for most innings. We got a couple months kind of determine how we'll do that, and that's going to come down a lot to how some of our guys swing the bats.
Yeah. How many guys do you have graduating this year? And could you name those guys and kind of what positions they are, and just kind of talk about them a little bit?
Seniors this year is Andrew Singley, coming back to be a returning first baseman, a guy that planned to hit in the middle of the order for us. Watching tape BP has a lot of pop, has some really quick hands. Really expect him. He's been working hard for us. Expect him to have a breakout year for us as well. Hopefully he can get third and fourth lineup. He's a guy that could probably hit somewhere between 5, maybe even up to 10 home runs for us. Obviously if he could hit 10 home runs, that would be big for us this year. But definitely a guy that's got a lot of pop. He also finds some time on the mound. Has been up to 81 for us this fall. Really does a good job of mixing pitches and does well for us. So that's the guy that we really look for. Colin Green is another guy. Kind of went back and forth whether he'll catch for us this year. He may play off or somewhere right there in the middle. I kind of like him in the leadoff spot or two-hole. Jonathan Miller probably hit leadoff for first, leadoff for second, and Colin probably hit the other spot. But Colin is be a guy that kind of get on base, set tables. Colin's our best base runner. Talk about goals the other day. His goal is still 30 bases this year for us. And if some of these goals we have that are actually realistic goals, if some of these kids can match these goals, I think we'll have a good year. Dalton Stringer is another guy that's going to play second or third for us or compete for one of those positions. Another guy, if you watch tape BP, can really run into some balls. So expect him to have a good year. And then a guy that football people know is Jacaden Mark. He'll come out and compete for outfield position for us, and he's really, really quick on the bases. So he can really score quick from if he's at second base on a base hit. So those 4 guys are our 4 seniors this year, and look for all 4 of those to have a really solid season.
Got 2 questions from the viewers. First one for Coach Jurgens. Is your team, let's see what it says here, is your team a reflection of your personality?
Well, I like to think so, yes. My personality, a lot of people would probably think is pretty soft-spoken, not real rowdy. But if you get stirred up a little bit, I think Colby and Jonathan both knows that you don't want a lot of fire under us a little bit. So I do think, I think so. I think so. We're going to just go out and take care of business, but think so.
We also have a question for Jonathan. With the nickname Bulldog, are you the most intense player on the team?
For sure.
Ain't no doubt.
And it's a good quality too. You know, I mean, obviously he's not a 6'4", 250-pound kid, but in his head and the way he attacks the baseball field, he is, you know. So, and that's what's cool about this game. You look at the Jose Altuve's, and he's a good bit bigger than Jose Altuve, but that mentality and that mindset is going to carry him a long way. And what's good too is he's got 2 years. He's got this year and next year, so that's what's pretty interesting. You got a good group as a junior class too. But
Jonathan's got one other question. Jonathan, if you stay healthy throughout the remainder of your high school career, what would be your dream offer to play baseball?
Mississippi State.
I like to hear that. Yeah,
Well, that's where Bulldogs go.
Yeah, it's just the Bulldog thing. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, just keep working, man. It's gonna happen. So taking a step back toward the team and kind of things, I guess we might get some more questions here in a minute. But
Jarvis Kraft wants you to know you are a dog.
Thank you.
But so y'all open. When's y'all's opening? I know y'all do a jamboree beforehand, correct? And
That's right.
When is the first game?
We'll open this year. We've kind of fell in the last couple of years to the Lamar County tournament. Where Oak Grove, Purvis, and Summerall, they try not to match up Purvis and Summerall together because it's a district game. So we slip in. So we'll play February 11th at Purvis. We'll play Summerall and Purvis on that day, and then we'll open the regular season Valentine's night. So I'm sure my wife will be real happy about that. But we open up Valentine's night, February 14th here against Columbia. Me and Kyle agreed a couple years ago. The opening week, we have to play home and home. We'll play here on the 14th, and we'll play there on the 17th, I believe, at Columbia. Really get some excitement going because it'll be a cold game, I'm pretty sure, in February. But really get some excitement going with the season, opening up with one another. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good series. I know Columbia has some really good players coming back this year, so we talk about that series fairly often. That's definitely 2 games within the county that we really would like to win.
And it's always a cool thing to think about that there's a school 10 minutes up the road that has quality opponents, and you got that rivalry, and also you talk about Columbia Academy and East Marion as well. But that's what's cool is when you roll up to the ball field down here or even at Columbia, and these 2 teams play against each other, you're gonna see a good one, which is cool. And so let's see. Last year y'all opened up. Who did y'all play last year? Was it Oak Grove y'all opened up with?
We opened up with Purvis in the Jamboree. We beat Purvis at Jamboree, and then Summerall edged us out in the state game. And then we started the season last year with Columbia.
Okay. If you were to compare this team this year to teams you've had in the past, what are some differences, some similarities, anything like that kind of sticks out to you?
This team is very similar. And what I've been very fortunate with since I've been here at West Marion is a bunch of hard-nosed kids that just go out and play hard. Now, I stay on them, and I think Jonathan can kind of attest. I stay on them about some intensity at practice and about playing hard, but it's not as bad as what I think it might be some other places. And a lot of people really tell us, that's what we try to push them every day, try to get the most out of them, trying to be tough. This team is just like a lot of those teams, really tough. Just like a lot of teams, a lot of people on that 17 team that made it to South State, they might say, you know what, we weren't super talented, but they were really tough. So we got a tough group. I think this team potentially this year could swing it, as good as any team I've had before. That's kind of tough to say because 21 team could really swing it well. This team, more than any team I've ever had, has more quality arms. May not have quite yet a Colby White or a Shelby Terrell, Trace McNabb quite yet, but with Colby Stringer as a freshman, he's going to be really good. Trace McDonald Sophomore, already mid-80s arm for us, 6'4". And then you go Nick Carney, Jude Stranger, Kamarion Akins. I expect him to have a big year for us. Jacob Buffalo. I mean, we have several quality arms on this team this year. So I would say if this team edges out any other team with one thing, it's going to be our ability to pitch. And I really got to credit Coach Greg Sanders. He works really hard with those guys daily as far as arm care and trying to stay healthy and to also develop some velocity. So I expect us this year, and this is on Greg, this is on Greg. If we don't pitch well, Greg, it's going to be on Greg. So, but I do expect us to pitch baseball really well this year.
2 quick questions. One for Jonathan. Jonathan, you play all over the field. You're expected to play wherever coach puts you. You feel the pressure of that, or nothing bothers you?
Not at all.
So if he comes out to get you and he sends you, if you play 3 positions in one game, go right.
Yes, sir.
Cowboy up, what he said.
Cowboy up, the man said. And for Coach Jerkins, what about the lower grades, your feeder system that's feeding high school level? How's it looking?
Okay. Junior high level, I get to personally work with those guys each day. And just like I was talking about from June with the high school team, I've had several of them since August, with several in junior high play different sports. You have them playing football and playing basketball, but they have made a big jump since August. And there's definitely some talent there. But once you start talking about comparing 3 and 4 grades, it's a little bit different. But at junior high level, there is definitely some talent. So the plan is not for us to be good next 3 years and then there'll be a drastic fall off. There's some really good players. Caden Turnage is a guy that's really good at junior high level. Riley Gay, a really good arm for us. Tyler Manning, and I can keep naming. There's a lot of kids at that level. And what you see from the junior high level compared to the high school level is there may be a kid in junior high that, he's a pretty good player. And all of a sudden in high school, he really, really develops. One that we're seeing on the high school level that's really done that is, and I'm sure Jonathan can attest to this, is Andre Summerall. Last year, he's a freshman for us this year. Last year, junior high was a solid player, but he's really made a difference, really turned the corner. Another guy that I'm going in the past, it was just, he was real small in junior high level and then really turned out to be a really solid high school baseball player for us was Cole Crozier. So guys at junior high level, to go back to the question, that definitely have some ability. It's going to take us some time to kind of get some of that worked out. But I don't plan for there to be a big drop off in the next couple of years in our program.
We're going into this year. You got 2 more years left. What has it meant to play at West Marion under him? I know I've certainly thought this, and I've talked with a bunch of different guys that's played here in different places. And one thing we describe him as a player's coach. How has it been playing for him? You can say the bad. He can't strangle you on TV right now. But
we're live. You can say anything you want to. We're live.
Yeah, we're live. It's in here, but I'm sure you probably won't. But is there anything really come to mind on that? Or
And it's great playing for him. Every day he's out there giving us everything he's got. No matter if he's sick or anything, he's always 100% pushing us to become the best we can be.
That's awesome. He was saying earlier about the team. Somebody asked a question about the team. Is it the same personality as Coach Jerkins? And Coach Jerkins was saying he was more reserved, which I think that too. But he also has intensity. I remember a baseball game. I don't remember if I was playing or what, and I'm not going to go into a bunch of details, but there was a very bad call. And Coach Jerkins threw his hat down, walked out there and was talking with the umpire. And the umpire didn't throw him out when he threw his hat down. He came back and went to pick up his hat. Or did you kick it?
I kicked it.
And it went over the netting, didn't it? Or the dugout? Did it go over the dugout or the net?
I got a couple years of eligibility left for Mississippi State. They need me.
Yeah, and
it was. And I've actually went out to where I threw it down. It was on the third baseline, and I've tried to relive it with nobody watching, and I can't get anywhere close. I think I had a little adrenaline going and a little wind, but I kicked it maybe 25 yards. I mean, it was impressive. It was,
yeah,
I can say it. I mean, it was.
Well,
impressive.
and that goes to show, as reserved as he is and as much of a player's coach as he is, when it comes down to crunch time and he's got to get on somebody, he will. And he'll go fight for his players if he feels like a call didn't go the way it. It's kind of a personality shift in that respect. But yeah, do we have any more?
Well, we got two questions here for Jonathan. Jonathan, who has been your favorite opponent to play against? Team. I'm assuming they're talking about team.
Probably St. Stanislaus. Because they're a bunch of rich boys.
I like that.
See,
man.
it's live to it. He can't change it.
Hey, we wouldn't want to change it, man. Let them hear. Let them know, baby. There was one more. Or?
I figured locally he's always gonna have issues with Columbia because that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm with you on.
We're glad to see West Marion and Columbia keep that rivalry going strong. Because I remember 100 years ago when I played at West Marion, I know that was a big deal, man.
Oh yeah.
I faced a lot of guys from Columbia that went on to the major league level, so I know what you're talking about, butting heads with some real talent. And the St. Stanislaus, the rich guy comment, that's classic. Coach Jerkins, on last year's performance of the district and what you've heard so far, who do you think you're most? What team do you feel you're gonna have the most trouble with in district?
St. Stanislaus has a lot coming back. They have Seth Varney. He's an Ole Miss commit. They have LeMaster, I believe his last name, shortstop, signed with East Mississippi. Hill Gainey, third baseman, signed with East Mississippi. And they got a Rhodes kid. I seen something on Twitter where he was hitting, had over 100-mile-an-hour exit velocity. I mean, so they got several kids that can play. They're big and strong. So they're definitely be a tough team in the district. St. Patrick's also going to have a really good arm that we'll say. Otis Brooks, he's an East Mississippi commit. I know this summer he was up to 88. And then you can't ever count Seminary out. Last year they state championship, and I know they graduated a good bit, but they're still going to have a good bit coming back. So definitely expect a tough district, but I would probably edge it out with Stanislaus probably going to be being our toughest district opponent.
You throw this comment, I need to throw this Jay Reagan comment up. We hadn't even had an opportunity to talk in. Bulldog's not just a baseball player that West Marion's looking at this year. He's also an accomplished musician. So his bandmate Jay Reagan said Bulldog will fight when you rattle that cage. So
he actually sang that downtown, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
So shout out to 98 West.
98 West.
This is a drummer here. Yeah, y'all gotta go see him play, man. Yeah, you sang that song downtown. Am I confused?
Jay sang that.
Okay.
Coach, we just
Sang
hope
one of them,
we just hope
Yeah.
as successful as the band's been that you can actually get him on the field and play baseball for you. Man signs a
cleats.
Hey, that's the man signs a recording contract. You might not have him the rest of the year.
I may not.
And he also plays in the church too, so stays busy. That's good though. That's when you think as talented as somebody is at baseball. Hey, this dude can play drums. I'm sure you can play guitar too, can't you? So a bunch of different skills there that certainly I don't have. So that's awesome.
What else you guys got? I was going to ask him about the multi-sport, but he said he only played 1 year of football. So we usually always ask at the end of the athletes that come on, hey, what all did you play? He said he was a baseball guy. He didn't waste his time with all that football nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, so if like you get to this point, you had a bunch of success. When you were a kid, when did you start playing baseball? When did you realize that you loved baseball and you wanted to continue to play? And then when was kind of the point? Did you ever have a point where you just got a lot better, or was it just a gradual grinding it out as you went?
I started playing when I was 4, but I know I loved it since before that because I'd always be out in the yard playing with my brother, my daddy. Was going from my 7th to 8th grade year. Me and you worked a lot that off season, and that helped me. And then from 8th to 9th grade, I got a lot of confidence going into high school that really just made my game shoot up.
Yeah. I remember seeing him in junior high, and nickname Bulldog, and you talk about mentality this kid has and stuff like that, and I feel like that is the key separator. And I know you've seen a ton of kids come through here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we talk about Josh Boone and him, and you go to Shelby and Jay and all those guys, it's like that mentality that they kind of get pissed off a little bit. I don't know if I can say that. I guess I
Sure
can.
you can. So you said it. Go ahead.
And yeah, we live, so we can't.
You can't
so,
bring. You can't take
go
it back. So go ahead.
But the kids that don't just accept things, you know. And I remember seeing that with him young, and I was like, man, this kid's gonna be very special. So where did that come from? Were you always born? Were you born like that, very competitive, or?
Yeah, like just growing up that the years, I always just had a mentality to win. I'm not gonna get beat, and that's really what makes me do that, and it helps me excel in every game.
Gotcha.
Well, this is a game of failure, and what you see is, and we talk about this a good bit, in this game, yeah, a lot of people are going to get upset. A lot of people are going to have that fight mentality, but how many is going to be able to keep your head on straight with that fight mentality? And Jonathan really does a really good job of having that bulldog mentality, but not necessarily losing control of what he's trying to do. It's real easy to let failure hit, and then you can't handle the situation. That's just like I talked about bringing them into a situation where men are on the pitch. Yeah, he's going to come in with a bulldog mentality. He can handle the situation. A lot of people can come in all fired up and throw forward to the backstop. You know?
No poise behind it.
Yeah,
Just there. Hey, I'm gonna fight, and if I hit you, it's okay. You know.
Yeah, that's right. So that's one thing that kind of really helps him strive, is being able to be that bulldog, but also be able to control emotion with that bulldog mentality.
Gotcha. So I know we kind of talked earlier about the junior high kids and the younger kids. How many are you going to have on a roster this year, and how many do you have, like, number-wise in junior high and all that going up?
Well, this year when we had tryouts for junior high, I really made it a point to try to get some stuff together and try to figure out what guys I was going to keep, if there was going to be any with some discipline problems and so forth, so on. And I really decided this year to narrow my number down and try to really work with a core group moving forward. So the number I ended up with was 12. And with 12 kids, you can go out and play a junior high game, and those kids can play the majority of the game and get a lot of work in. Where it gets real tough if you got 22 on your junior high roster. You got 22 on your junior high roster. I mean, a junior high game may last 3, maybe 4 innings. You're playing 22, 9 and 9's 18. You got 4 kids you're just trying to shuffle in somewhere. So those 12 kids on a junior high roster, we're going to try to get them in and play the majority of 2 games every time we play, and we'll have 10 doubleheaders. So that's 20 games that most of those kids get to play. Whereas a lot of them, if they don't, if they play it at Dean Griner, they may play, I don't know how many it is now, 12, 14 games. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but plus we have in the whole fall and spring to practice with those kids. And that's where I can say they've really seasons ended, added a few more, and you can see the growth daily with those kids.
That's awesome. I don't know if there's any more questions. That's about all I got on my end.
I know one thing. Jarvis Kraft must be his PR guy, because Jarvis Kraft is blowing the comment section up. So
yeah, we appreciate you, Jarvis.
that's what I say. Jarvis might need to be your agent when you.
Yeah, when you sign with state.
Yeah, he needs to be your NIL advisor.
Yeah, you could be talking with Miss Koger who we had on there, wasn't it?
Yeah, Karen Koger. Yeah, the NIL attorney. I got a behind the camera question for Coach Jerkins. 30 years teaching school for 30 years, coaching 30 years, hanging it up, or one day you might get a call from a JUCO or somewhere. I mean, would you ever consider, because you're West Marion born and bred, would you ever consider leaving here and going somewhere else?
That's a tough question. It is. Because I've been here. Well, my first year out of college, I spent 1 year at Columbia Academy, and I've been here. This is my 11th year since then. I live within the county. I'm pretty locked down with that, with a new house about 2 years ago. So I can't say I wouldn't consider it, but I couldn't be any happier than where I am right now at West Marion. In 20 years when I retire, I may move on somewhere else after that. But my ultimate goal right now is to bring a state championship to West Marion. And I think with the group I have within the next couple of years, I think that that's going to happen. So that's my ultimate goal. I definitely wouldn't want to leave here without one of those.
Colby, you heard what he said. He's been here 11 years. That means he graduated high school and he's like 11 years old. So
Oh, yeah.
that's what's so crazy is I remember when Coach Jerkins was little Jerkins. Long before he ever thought about teaching. What?
And then when springtime comes around, I'll teach geography. I do 2 periods, and then I have an online period of that. The 2 periods I teach in class is junior high, and the online is the high school class.
I wondered if you was an algebra teacher or something. You did that quick math a while ago. Colby was over scratching his head. Thank goodness you come up with them quick numbers.
It took me 2 weeks to figure that out. Yeah.
I get plenty of practice. I got a little girl in the 2nd grade.
Oh, okay.
A lot of math. So she quizzes me a lot.
Common Core math, I'm assuming.
I'm sure. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, looks like the comments and the questions are kind of wound down. So if you got any closing statements, anything you want to ask them, go ahead and knock that out, Colby.
First of all, thanks to everybody that tuned on. Thank y'all for coming on. I know y'all trying to find time in between church and everything, and that's awesome. We really appreciate y'all coming on. Good luck this year. Everybody watching this, check out the 2023 West Marion Trojans this year. I expect a good year as always. Got a good staff, got a bunch of good players. Thanks, Jonathan, for coming on here. And I know you don't look as nervous as me, so you done good, man. So
yeah, I was thinking, I feel like we should shake him every day to make sure he's still awake over there.
Oh yeah.
You talk about calm, cool, and collected. Golly.
That's it. But that's all we got. Y'all got anything else?
Just glad to be able to come on and do this. I really enjoyed it. Spending some time.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all coming on. We really wanted to bring shine to the county, especially the baseball programs. And when Colby brought this up, we couldn't pass on this opportunity. West Marion this week. We're going to do Columbia next week, I believe it is.
Yes, sir. I got to get with Coach Lindsay on.
Coach Lindsay, I don't know if we have his impact player yet, but we're going to do that next Sunday. And then I don't know what order from that. We are going to feature East Marion. Checking this video out, if you're a Columbia fan or West Marion fan or just a county, fan of the county baseball program, please check us out. So, all right, I guess that's it, man. For those of you that's on audio, we're going to go to a quick commercial to finish the show out. And for everybody that's on video, we'll see you guys next week live next Sunday afternoon. I'm assuming we'll be back at our regular time at 5 p.m. If that changes, of course, we'll announce it. And I guess that's a wrap, guys.